Are you ready to go, Chuck?
Okay, we'll call to order the City of Marysville Planning and Historic Preservation Commission special meeting for August 12th, 2020. First item up, we'll do a roll call.
Commissioner Bramer.
Here.
Commissioner Rich Creek.
Here.
Commissioner Payne. Commissioner Vodden. Commissioner Hummus. Vice Chair.
Commissioner Vaughn, excuse me, sorry. Commissioner Vodden, I believe, is on the call. He just is muted.
Commissioner Vodden, if you're on, can you raise your hand? Vice Chair Belza is absent. Chair Deal.
Here.
I do see Commissioner Vodden is on.
Okay. Well, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you. Okay, now we'll open the public hearing for a hearing for proof of use permit to create a commercial cannabis activity for a warehouse located at 1127 Chestnut Street. I believe we'll hear from staff first. Officer Sachs.
Good evening, Planning Commission, Commissioners. Chief Sachs with Marysville PD. I'm conducting this presentation this evening. The purpose of this item is for the Planning Commission to approve a conditional use permit with Michael Ship to operate a commercial cannabis activity business, which is distribution only, from a warehouse located at 1127 Chestnut Street in Marysville. A little bit of background, Mr. Ship is proposing a commercial cannabis business there, distribution only. It's from a warehouse at 1127 Chestnut Street. The property is 0.73 acres. It contains 3 warehouses on the property, and it was previously an auto repair shop. The applicant's already secured a lease for the site and has already made contact with my office and coordinated with some of the safety and security features. They've been doing some painting and cleaned up the area, and there's a lot of vagrancy issues in the area and homeless that were sleeping there, and then that's all been mitigated at this point in time. The applicant does describe this use as critical to health and safety because on the consumer side, since it's the distribution centers are responsible for testing, quarantining, storage, and transporting of licensed products to marijuana businesses throughout the state. We have reviewed their conditional use application. It is industrial, light industrial. It is zoned properly for this. So it meets all the requirements as outlined within the staff report. And, and also reviewing their application, met with Jonathan Wright, our community development director at the time, and we came up with a set of criteria for performance conditions and advisory conditions, which are located on the last page of the staff report submitted. And those things would obviously have to be in compliance before they could open and operate for business. So in conclusion, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the applicant's request for a cannabis distribution facility and adopt the findings of this staff report and enact the following proposed conditions, which are those 14 or the first 5 performance conditions, and then the latter 9 advisory conditions. So the recommended action additionally is, conduct a public hearing, which we're doing this evening, and then certify that the Planning Commission has reviewed and considered the proposed Class 32 exemption and has determined that the exemption reflects the independent judgment of the city as the lead agency under CEQA, and then approval of the conditional use permit for the use just stated previously. Additionally, I'll just add one thing real quick is it did go out for when it got noticed, and there was feedback from 3 parties. PG&E indicated that they would probably have to coordinate with them just as far as the power stuff goes. So that's in one of the advisory conditions. Feather River Air Quality indicated that they might have to meet with them as well. That's in another one of the advisory conditions. We do require within our city code a filtration system and air filtration system on any of the cannabis businesses where there would be an odor. So that way it's self-contained, so it wouldn't affect the community around it. And then just at the last minute, we received a hard copy of a letter from Miss Karen Liggett, and that was provided to the Community Development Department, and that was emailed out to all the commissioners in the last couple days for your guys' review. So having said all that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or any concerns for any of the commissioners this evening.
Thank you, Chief Staff. I did have a few questions. I noticed that one of the items was that all employee vehicles and the company vehicles need to have their own parking. Did they say how many employees they may have, or roughly?
So there's going to only be probably less than 5,
Okay.
from what I understand, but I think Mr. Ship is on the line and he'll be able to clarify that for us this evening. But I think we're looking probably right around 5, but I could be mistaken. Is he on the line?
Yeah, yes,
Mike.
gentlemen. Yes, gentlemen, I'm here. I had to unmute myself. Apologize. You're correct, Chief Sachs. There will be regular operation of less than 5. If there is a transaction transpiring, there could be upwards of 8 people possibly max there, and which would, including the courtyard, which is 100 feet by 300 or 250 feet. Just on the internal courtyard is enough for all the employees. So anyone, any buyer or seller that's on the premises in order to transact, there's over 30 parking places in front of the building as well. So there's plenty of parking.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, and for, when he's saying in the courtyard area, that's where if a shipment is being delivered, then there's obviously a little bit more people because they're coming in with the vehicle while that's taking place, and there is plenty of parking, and they would be required under our performance conditions for a parking plan that would identify that the available parking spaces for them within the courtyard area and also in the large parking lot there on the south side of the building.
Is that part of the property? I couldn't tell from the
Yes.
map. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And then you said you mentioned the neighbors. Did you get any feedback from I think it's Wild Seed or the gas station?
No feed. There was no comment back from either one of them.
Okay.
I know that in meeting with Mr. Ship and when we were over at Wild Seed, it's the same zoning, and that's what, where the zoning is for this. They actually will complement each other when it comes down to it on that side of it, that they'll be able to work well together. And my understanding is that the partnership that they're going to be able to create, that whole middle parking area will probably be all surveillance cameraed and probably fenced in, and it would probably be one larger secured, location within it. And then as far as the gas station is concerned, I did not hear back anything from Rhonda Howe or their owners group, but I know that they are supportive of Wild Seed where it currently is at this point in time. And they're also supportive of the business being occupied because it, is attracting a homeless population that was living there in the back and also within the courtyard area, which is, deterred business from their location. So they're excited to see that it got painted and the vagrancy issues have been mitigated. And so, and it's adding more, excuse me, safety and security for their business because this facility would be cameraed 360 degrees all around the building, which also would provide extra safety and security for the surrounding businesses in that area.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go through the commissioners, see if they have any other questions. We'll start with Ben.
I have no comments at this time.
Okay, Commissioner Rich Creek.
I just will comment that I read through everything, staff report, all the documents, very organized and good order. So whoever prepared this is very efficient. I was glad to hear Chief Sachs say what I think he alluded. I think it was in the report as well that I totally agree that the more people you have there, it's going to curtail criminal activity and provide more safety and security in that area when you have businesses there, more eyes out there. So I feel, my opinion, I feel that this meets all our requirements for that business, for the distribution. And so that I'm looking at that voting yes on this. So just that way, if you guys have anything to discuss, we can talk about it, but that's my view right now. I think it meets all the standards and it's a good thing. That's all I have. Oh, I have one question for the applicant. You have car parking, any bicycle parking available?
Right now, there's no bicycle parking available. Don't really see myself conducting business with anyone on a bicycle, but if that's a requirement, I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to do that. Remember, this is not a dispensary or a collective. This is to transact quality control, make sure that the product is safe to provide to those dispensaries or collectives throughout the state. So I wouldn't be transacting on a retail end of things from anybody with a walk-up type business or on a bicycle like across the way at Wild Seed. This is more on a high level, more like an IKEA warehouse or an Amazon warehouse where we're just conducting quality control testing and then provide logistics throughout the state.
Thank you for that, because people listening need to know that's exactly what we're looking at, what type of business you're doing. And I guess I was asking more for the complex area for people that are like going to Wild Seed, which has nothing to do with that. So I apologize for that, but I was glad I asked because you gave a lot better definition of what we're looking at, what type of business yours is, and it helps educate the public on that. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those common misunderstandings of what a distribution center is, and people are often, misunderstand it for being a dispensary. And we're definitely not a dispensary. There wouldn't be anyone walking through the doors, buying product off of a shelf or anything like that. We are there to just, again, quality control of the product. Our testing facility is in Marysville, so we would be keeping all of those tax dollars within the city of Marysville for all of the testing that is required for the transaction. So we're doing as much as we can for the area. Chief Sachs, appreciate you being there and going by. We've been working very hard over there cleaning up the area. And I have spoken to Rhonda at the Chevron multiple times, and the neighboring businesses are very glad that we're over there, because just in the short time that we've been in control of the property, there is little to no homeless or any of the activities that were there for many years before we took over. So we're proud of what we've done and definitely happy to be in the area.
Hey, Kelly, I have, Commissioner Rich Creek, I apologize for not explaining that in a little bit further detail as far as the clarification that Mr. Ship just indicated as far as the business goes. So it's just like a big storage warehouse, and it's going to get delivered there, and it's going to be tested locally through certified ag labs here in Marysville, and then it gets distributed throughout the state to the other businesses. So it's pretty much a storage and holding and testing, and then the products being distributed. So I apologize for not clarifying that.
No apology, because it's all in the report, so it's all good, but it's just nice to hear it from the applicant as well. Thank you. That's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rich Creek. Commissioner Voden? Is he still having issues, or? I believe you're on mute. So Commissioner Voden, if you can undo mute.
Can we, Matt?
I guess the second option is you could type in questions. Not being here. Yeah, I can make a comment. Okay, I'll give you another opportunity.
Okay, through the chair, I just want to make an announcement that Vice Chair Belza is not in attendance tonight, as he had to recuse himself from this particular item, as he was involved in the transaction between the landlord of the property and the tenant.
Thank
He
you.
just wanted that for the record.
Great. And then was Commissioner Hams on here, or? No, okay. I did have one additional question, maybe it's for Michael. I believe the other two locations, dispensaries, they have security guard requirements. Are they going to try and combine? I think it's just cameras right now for the current location. The other one across the street, they have a security guard, I believe.
Where
Wild Seed?
Wild Seed has 24-hour security, yes.
Okay. So they'll be across the parking lot.
They will be across the parking lot, the 24-hour physical security, yes, and then which would watch the same area. And then under the requirements of our code, the commercial cannabis facility, like distribution center, is not required to have an on-site security guard, because there's no transactions that are taking place at a storefront per se, like the dispensaries are. So they are required under the safety and security plan to have every square footage of the facility, obviously without restrooms and locker room type stuff, but every square foot of the facility to be covered by IP cameras, which we will have 24-hour access to. We've been working with Mr. Ship on that. He has a very detailed safety and security plan that we've worked on together on that, and it's pretty robust. However, that's confidential and doesn't get disseminated out to anybody but his location, and then it's stored at my office for our personnel to be trained up on it. And so he's already actually provided that to us in anticipation, and I can tell you that it's pretty robust, just like the dispensaries are. The only difference is not the 24-hour armed security guards there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There will be some in the neighborhood, though. It's
There'll
kind of a
be one right
benefit for
across
him.
there'll be one right across the parking lot. Yeah, Wild Seed.
Okay. I know he's not paying for it. It's not his. Oh, go ahead, Michael.
No, and to clarify, there's already over 20 cameras installed. They're not hooked up through servers yet, but the cameras are already installed on the exterior of the property. And to clarify, when there are transactions Once we get up and rolling, there will be 24-hour security at our site as well. And I've talked to Wild Seed Security, and they do already kind of survey on my area and go back and forth. And we're going to have both of our security guards working together to make sure that the whole entire property is secure, including the Chevron and gas and the car wash that's also on the whole entire property, just to make sure that even though it's just across the alley, we want to make sure that everything is safe. We're over at Chevron all the time, and I have already installed multiple lights throughout the alley to make sure that it was very dark out there when we took over. So the parking lot is now completely lit up. The alley's lit up. I did everything with LED lights. I've taken out all of the old lights within the property and installed LED lights for energy conservation. And it looks much better, and it's much safer over there already.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to open it up for public comments. Oh, Eric, is he? Okay. Mr. Commissioner Voden, do you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, I just had one. I think pretty much all my questions have been answered, but I just had one more, probably of the applicant. Any estimate of how many vehicle trips or truck trips a day coming to and from the facility in a typical day?
It probably wouldn't be a daily occurrence. It would be shipments come in, they're stored for 72 hours. We have box trucks for larger shipments, and for smaller shipments, we have smaller vans and sprinter vans. So for example, if a shipment came in and was stored in a locked facility inside the building, we might, just use a sprinter van to run over to Certified Ag Labs, drop off a sample there and wait for shipment to come back. And then entry and exits is through an automatic gate that has, privacy slats in it, so you can't see anything beyond that gate. But I would say, to answer your question, it would probably be, I don't know, probably maybe 10 or 15 throughout the week, and it necessarily wouldn't be daily. Just depends on the time of the year. We'll be a little bit busier when harvest season is here over the next few months. And then it is definitely a more of a seasonal, type business, where it's going to be busier at certain parts of the year than it is at others. But I would say the daily traffic is going to be from employees.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Voden. So now I'll open up for public comments, if there's any on the line, or at this time. Gives people a minute so they can.
He's the property owner.
There we go. Thank you.
Press Alt-A to unmute.
Okay, I did. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, hi. This is Michael Hart and my wife, Karen Hart. We are the folks who own the property. And I just wanted you to know it's been a pleasure working with Mr. Shipp. We had a lot of demands. We've had the property a long time. We've had some good tenants, some bad tenants, some problematic issues. And so far, he's been great to work with. And like about a year ago, I brought to you a testing lab, and you guys weren't ready for that in Marysville. It's too bad. It was a nice, clean business. This is another clean business. So I hope you do approve it.
And we are very impressed with the way that Mr. Shipp has gone about orchestrating this business. He is very exacting, and I'm particularly impressed with his attention to detail.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you both. I certainly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
If there's any more comments, give people a second. Nothing. I do have actually one more question. I know it's a 2-year use permit, conditional use permit. Will they come back to us for review again, or was it just?
Yes, under those guidelines, yes. It's for a period of 2 years, but it would just come back for renewal.
Okay.
just for an updated status and just to make sure nothing has changed.
Okay, great. Any more public comments? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion if anyone has a motion.
A motion to approve the use of a conditional use permit permitting the operation of a commercial cannabis activity from a warehouse at 1127 Chestnut Street, Marysville, subject to the conditions proposed in the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Bramer.
I'll,
Anyone-
I'll second that. This is Commissioner Rich Creek.
Thank you, Commissioner Rich Creek. Do the commissioners have any questions or comments you'd like to discuss?
Now, I have a comment. Appreciate Chief Sachs bringing this forward to us, taking time out of your busy schedule to present it, and thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree that you guys sound like you've been working on it already. I've seen that location. I've seen vagrants or homeless people there. So it would be nice to kind of help that building, and that alleyway gets kind of congested with.
Since Mr. Ship's been in there, he's cleaned it up, and I tell you, the problems that we've had there with the homeless have been, nearly none now. So he's done a phenomenal job helping us out on that side of it as well from the police department's perspective. So.
Unlike the dispensaries, this is probably going to be a facility that the general public is not even going to be aware is located there. So I'm certainly prepared to accept the staff recommendation on this.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowden. Commissioner Rich Creek, do you have any final? Oh,
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think this is a really good fit for that location. Reading over the business plan and what he's doing with it, it's just a good fit for that zone. So I like it.
okay, thank you. Shall we take a vote on the motion? So the vote would be on what Commissioner Bramer said, to approve the use permit, conditional use permit for the commercial cannabis activity at a warehouse located on 1127 Chestnut Street. No changes by the commission, so be as is. Do you want to do roll call or?
Commissioner Bramer,
Yay.
Commissioner Rich Creek,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne is absent, Commissioner Bowden,
Aye.
Commissioner Hamas is absent, Vice Chair Belza has recused, Chair Dale.
Aye. All right, so
So let's repeat. How many votes do we have? Ayes.
4.
the item has passed with 4 votes from Commissioner Bramer, Commissioner Rich Creek, Commissioner Bowden, and Commissioner Deal. So we will move on to commissioner comments.
We have one more recommended action. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, okay.
So that was the recommended for the conditional use permit, but in looking, reviewing this just a little bit further, there's one more recommended action that we're requesting, and that's to certify that the Planning Commission has reviewed and considered the proposed Class 32 exemption, which is Section 15332, and has determined that the exemption reflects the independent judgment of the city as the lead agency for CEQA. And those documents were provided within the original packet.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I see.
And that was the CEQA documents that were provided on the environmental, the CEQA environmental checklist. I think it's 10 pages that was completed by Mr. Jonathan Wright. And all of them indicated that there is no impact which qualifies for the exemption. So we just needed to review that this evening too, to make sure that the commission agrees.
Okay, yeah, I apologize for that. It's on the same staff report, so I assume it was all part of the same package, but we can open up comments for that for the commissioner just to make sure that everyone's reviewed it and they're okay with it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Commissioner Bramer, do you have any comments on it?
No comments.
Commissioner Rich Creek?
I did review it and I am in agreement with it. I don't think there's any impact.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowden?
I reviewed it. I have no comment.
Thank you. And I'm the same. I had no comment on it. Same, same package, so I apologize for not separating it, but
No worries.
it's good to cover it. Okay. It's not an item that we're going to vote on, I imagine, so just approval, you just need a verbal confirmation.
It's just to certify the planning commission's reviewed and considered it. So if we have a 4-0 vote or 4-0 or a 4-person vote for the commission, and the commission is good with certifying that they've reviewed the CEQA and it qualifies, then I think we're good.
Okay. Great. So now I'll move on to commissioner comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Sack, sorry. Commissioner comments, and Ben, Commissioner Bramer, I'm going to go to you because you're here with me.
I'm here. Yeah, I have no additional comments other than what I, thank Chief Sachs.
Thank you. Commissioner Rich Creek.
I actually have something that I wanted to bring up to get on our next agenda item. Of course, September, probably won't be till September. And it's to take, just to see what the other commissioners that are here, we have a little discussion to see if you guys agree. I've been getting a lot of comments and feedback through the last few years on the downtown commercial area. So I'm talking about the C2 commercial area, not allowing or it being not legal yet for people to live above the businesses. And I never took the time to look it up. I thought, oh, that's got to been passed by now, because I know we had talked about it years ago, changing it, but it looks like it never did get changed. And right now we have it as a necessary where you need to get a minor use permit in our tables. And if you look at the tables, it'd be under the commercial use list, commercial like C1, C2. And it's under work. I would guess it would be under it's under the work live space. It has a minor use permit is still needed if someone wants to live above the business, even though, and the reason I'm bringing this up is we've had some recent sales of businesses downtown that have the ability to maybe renovate or provide more housing for the town, which we desperately need. We already have places that have a lived space, and I have no idea if they have a minor use permit, but really I want to see what the other commissioners think, or even to get Chief Sack's opinion on this. In allowing it, when you allow more housing down there, it's also another way to help limit, or add safety and security in the downtown, because you have people living down there, more people are aware of what's going on. And I don't want to, that's why I'm bringing it up. When I looked it up on the use tables, that looks like the only area we would have to make the change in our municipal code is on the table. Instead of MU, we would just put a P there as a permitted use. So of course, we're not going to make any decisions this meeting, but I wanted to just see if you guys or the other commissioners would like to put it up for discussion for September, if you feel that this is worth a discussion to move it forward to the city council so we can get this, the more housing permitted, and it would spur on hopefully some renovations in the sales of the building, and maybe to hear from you to see if what you're hearing or what people have been telling you, because we're the ones that are tapped into the community. So I yield the floor, so would love to hear what you guys think. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rich Creek. Actually, just want to clarify, it's in this C2 district, you said?
Yeah, the C2, and it's also referred to, I think, in in certain areas called the Central Business District. So
Yes.
it's downtown, and it would be helpful, like next meeting, we have a map. Or I don't know if anybody brought their notebooks with them where they could flip open the map to look at the map. But the downtown, you know, the main downtown is C2, but then there's parts of it, surrounding areas that may fall into one of the other zones. But right now I'm just wanting to look at that area to start with. And it's 18.24.020, where it talks about the allowable land use and permit requirements, if you want to look it up. And that look up the use tables. And that's under 18.24.040 C2. I'll email this to Ellen so she doesn't have to take particular notes here. So.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rich Creek. Yeah, actually, I did talk to a realtor not that long ago, and he was concerned about having apartments above some businesses. And he kind of said, well, I don't know if we can do that. So maybe that's something we could, I'm open to discussing it. And if we have a clear agenda of what we want to look at, it makes sense to me. So I'll let the other commissioners speak though. Commissioner Bergman?
No, I don't have any problem discussing it. But this is the first I've become aware of it. I haven't looked at the ordinance on it, so I'm not gonna make any other comment.
Commissioner Bowden, do you have any comments?
No, I'm certainly open to discussing it and maybe doing a little research before the meeting. So,
You think, staff, do you think we could put that on the next agenda to discuss if we perhaps get a little better direction?
Absolutely. But we can help provide clarification with the current municipal code and identify any of those issues. I know that part of it now is that Jonathan Wright was looking into that already. And there is several businesses downtown that we've spoken to that would like to occupy the upstairs. Some of them are already residential units, or they were at one time. So pursuant to the code, they could habitat those and reoccupy those, depending on what the original use was at the point in time. So we'd have to go through historical records, but clearing up the municipal code for that zoning would also, provide some additional clarification for more people in the downtown in those areas. So we're open to look at it, and we'll put together the packet and we can get it for the next meeting. Absolutely.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, I know there's folks that live, the buildings are already occupied, some of those upstairs, like you mentioned. So it sounds like
at
it's
one
just
time, I recall one time that the Chicks lived up above their former store there, Art Chick, who was actually a member of the Planning Commission some years back.
Okay. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Commissioner Rich Creek?
I'm sorry, thank you. Too bad they didn't get it on the docket then. It would have been done.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Staff updates?
No updates.
Updates. All right, we'll
I have
close out.
I have another comment.
Okay, Commissioner Rich Creek?
But did everybody get to comment? I felt like I hogged the comment section of it.
All the commissioners had an opportunity and staff.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to publicly address the community director. I would like to see the community director, Jonathan Wright, back in that position. And one of the things I wanted to point out publicly was that the accuracy of the document that went to city council, it had my name on it, so that's why I'm bringing it up. It had a Commissioner Rich Creek said this, and there was no accuracy there, so that's why I'm bringing it up, and sorry about that. But the document I'm speaking of is a July 21st at the city council meeting. It was item number 19, and it was worded, you really have to read the wording carefully. This had to do with Jonathan Wright not being, it had to do with our meeting, right? That people, I think you're aware of, but I just want to clarify the part that was inaccurate. That's all I'm going to talk about. So it said in the document that Jonathan had, they quoted an email to us from Jonathan that said he was waiting on a legal opinion, which was correct. But the part that was incorrect, it stated that they asked the attorney, July 17th, the attorney, the community director, the attorney stated that the community director never contacted him, even though he told Brammer and Rich Creek he had done so. Jonathan Wright never told me that he had contacted the attorney. So I just wanted to get that on the record. What he stated in the email was he was waiting on legal opinion. There is a difference in those two statements. So I just wanted to be clear. I can only speak for myself, not Commissioner Brammer. So thank you for that. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rich Creek. Commissioner Voden, do you have any closing comments?
No comments.
Commissioner Brammer, do you? Okay. I just want to thank staff. I know you guys have been working diligently with different departures and stuff, so really appreciate it. I know it's challenging times with COVID and everything, so appreciate it. And I will.
Through the chair, I just want to make note that Commissioner Hamas has been on.
Oh,
Apparently there has been some issues, so I just wanted noted that she has attended the meeting instead of having her noted as being absent.
does she have any comments or anything? Do you know? Okay. Welcome to Zoom. All right. Well, thanks for attending. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry the AC.